I, 25 female, am married to my sweet husband, 30 male, and we have a 2-week-old daughter together. I grew up in a normal middle-class family. There's really nothing special about my childhood. My husband, on the other hand, grew up in an abnormally wealthy family, went to a private school where he had trips to Europe. Honestly, that's insane. I never even had a school trip. After I found out I was pregnant, my husband gave me his card and told me that I could use this card to buy all necessities for myself and our baby. I admit I might have gone a little too crazy with all of the items I bought for my daughter, but they were so cute. I just couldn't leave the store without buying them. I bought my daughter a lot of designer items, which I know is so wasteful, because she'll probably puke all over it, or never wear it at all. I just felt like I had to buy everything for her. My sister, 29, has been acting very offstandish since I got married. She has in fact been acting weird since I introduced my husband to my family. I just assumed she was feeling a little anxious since her little sister was getting in a serious relationship. My husband and I had scheduled to take some family photos with our daughter, our dog and cat. I decided I was going to visit my mom after because I was in need of a really good nap. I went to my mom's house. My sister, my grandma, and 2 cousins were there. I told them I was here to take a well-needed nap, and mom was going to watch the baby. My mom immediately took her out of her car seat, so I could finally sleep uninterrupted. My daughter was wearing a Burberry onesie, and my sister immediately said that it was so wasteful to buy a baby designer. I told her that I had to buy it because it was so cute. She then said that I was acting like I was above the family. I was throwing my husband's wealth in their face, knowing that my sister was having financial issues. She finds it unfair that I can buy expensive items for just the baby, and not buy her anything designer or give her money. I told her my daughter is a baby, and I needed to have my life together for her. My sister is an adult, and she needed her life together for herself. She exploded, screamed in my face, called me names, told me that I'm hoarding my husband's money for myself. I get very emotional when people yell in my face, so I left crying with my daughter. My mom begged me to leave the baby here and apologized on my sister's behalf. I told her it didn't feel safe to leave my child in the same house as my sister. I've gotten so much hate from my family, telling me I'm stuck up and that I could help my sister with all the money that my husband has, saying it was not normal to buy all that stuff for just a baby. I feel really guilty for not helping her financially, but asking for my husband's money is just not right. I thought it was pretty normal for first-time moms to buy unnecessary things for their baby, but maybe I was wrong. Am I the a-hole? I just wanted to clarify that last year my sister and her partner invested into cryptocurrency. They invested too early or too late and lost all of their savings. She almost lost her home, but my parents, 2 brothers and I came together to help her out. My parents are still helping her to resolve her debt. Thus, I thought I did not have to help her out anymore. Also, I'm not relying on my husband's money. I studied international business and law. I have my own money, my own savings, and my own career. Everyone sucks here. If you have the money and want to buy your baby designer brands, go for it. And you don't owe your sister anything. She's an a-hole for demanding it. She's not entitled to designer anything just because you can afford it. But where I feel you were also an a-hole is your comment about getting your life together. You didn't get your life together. You married well, and you married someone who's well off because they came from a well-off family who was able to provide him with opportunities most people don't have. You make it sound like your sister chooses to be in a less financially well-off situation. Like if she wanted to, she could just snap her fingers and be able to afford all the things you can afford. That's not how life works. You and your husband are privileged due to circumstances, and you might not be in such a great position if it wasn't for those circumstances. Don't go around rubbing your privilege in other people's faces, especially when you didn't earn it. Not the a-hole. You may have went a little overboard with the designer stuff, and it might be wasteful, but it's okay, because that's your choice, and your husband gave you his card for you and your daughter, not to deal with your sister's financial problems, which are her own responsibility. She may be jealous and angry at your husband's money, but that doesn't make it hers, or give her the right to it as well. I'd ask the rest of this family who are hating on you why they haven't helped her out financially. It's not your sole responsibility to finance her and buy her stuff. Not the a-hole. Do I think it's wasteful as hell to buy designer baby clothes? Yes. But to act that entitled to your brother-in-law's money? If she needed help, she could have come to both of you and asked about it. Instead, she's guilting you and lashing out. Sounds to me like she's less upset about her financial struggles and more jealous that you've married someone wealthy enough to afford that sort of lifestyle. I, 55 female, have a 27-year-old daughter, Nora. She's married to her husband, Ryan, 30, and they have 2 kids together, ages 4 and 1. They all live in my home. 7 months ago, they had a huge setback financially. Nora could no longer be a stay-at-home mom, nor could they afford to pay rent. My husband and I agreed to let them move in, and I would babysit to help out so she could work and they could get back on their feet and save money. They help with groceries and sometimes bills. Ryan has kept a steady job at a car dealership for the past 6 months. Nora has been hopping from jobs, unable to keep one. She's currently working at a grocery store. Today, Nora and Ryan told me excitedly that Nora was pregnant. I asked her what she was going to do about work and if they were planning on finding their own place. Nora said she figured I could just watch the baby while she worked, because I do with her other two, so it wouldn't be much different, and that they can't afford their own place right now. My husband and I were both talking, and we're deeply upset about this, and feel as though we've been taken advantage of. We were thinking of giving them a time limit and say they need to move out by then. I talked to my eldest daughter, 31, and she said that'd be an a-hole move to throw them out when they needed us. But I feel as though there will never be a right time, especially since they think it's okay to expand their family while living in someone else's home. I'd ask her privately if this was a planned pregnancy. If it was, I would say that I was surprised that they felt financially stable enough to grow their family. But I wish them luck, and I'll help them with the moving process. If the pregnancy was unplanned, I might let them stay longer, but I would be clear that I wouldn't be watching all 3 kids, so they will need to start planning for daycare or working opposite shifts. Your oldest daughter needs to let them move in with her, because as she says, they need help now more than ever. She can help, right? You and your husband have raised your kids. It is not your responsibility to now raise Nora's growing brood, while she pussyfoots around with jobs. You should have given them a timeline when they originally moved in. But you 4 need to sit down and talk about how you and your husband feel about how she's taking advantage of the situation, and giving them a time frame to move. They have to figure it out without figuring you and your husband into raising or babysitting their kids. Occasionally babysitting is fine, but geez, they're living their lives like they have live-in nannies. Not the a-hole. They are now taking advantage of you. If they can't afford their own home, they cannot afford another child. They are being extremely irresponsible. You need to give them a time frame to move out, or they will never leave and will expect you to support them and look after their children for the rest of your life. You are entitled to enjoy your life and not be expected to look after your grandchildren continually. So, every week, my partner and I give our kids $50. Half that money is for school lunch for the week. Lunch is $5 a day at their school. We used to just put the money in their school lunch accounts, but we don't trust it anymore because they've messed up several times, or take way too long to have the money show up in their accounts. So, we just give the kids cash. The other $25 they get is their weekly allowance, which is put in their bank accounts, and they can use their debit cards to buy stuff. Our daughter, Robin, sometimes stays over at her dad's, George, and stepmom's, where she also has a half-sister, Emily. It seems Emily has found out how much money Robin gets weekly as her allowance. According to George, it's caused some jealousy issues and fighting. George has asked that Robin get a lower allowance because of these issues. He thinks it should be around the same that Emily gets, which is $10, or $1 less since she is older than Robin. Of course, if we did that, we would have to do the same for our son, Connor, because otherwise, it would just create the same issues Emily has with Robin, since Connor is the youngest. This all just feels like it would cause Robin to resent Emily, and Connor to resent Robin, and like we would be punishing both kids for no reason when they are getting good grades, helping around the house, and are generally responsible with how they spend their money. We sometimes check in to see their account balances, and we're both very proud of how much they have saved. We know they each have things they are saving for, and they are responsible purchases. So, we don't want to cut them off in more than double the time it would take them to reach their goals. We also don't feel like we should have to change our whole family system for them, when this system has worked very well for us, especially since Robin primarily lives with us. We are instead thinking of just having another conversation with both the kids about being discreet with their finances. Not the a-hole. Actually, you should argue that if they are giving $10 to Emily, they should also be giving $10 to Robin. Let them deal with that. Not the a-hole. I grew up in a mixed family. While we're all really close and really happy now as adults, but we're some real issues as kids. My stepsister's mom and stepdad had a lot more money than we had, and my bio dad has been out of the picture since I was a little kid. They got allowance. I didn't. I had to get a job to buy things that they were given. My advice? Talk to your daughter about how her half-sister is feeling. Ask her about how she'd feel in their position. Suggest that she not brag or flaunt her extra money. She shouldn't hide it or lie about it, but she needs to find a way to be graceful. She's not a bad person for having things other kids don't. They're not bad kids for wanting what someone else has. You can't control what the other parent does, but you can control how you teach your daughter about the world. Not the a-hole. Surely her dad could just top up her half-sister's allowance with the allowance he isn't giving your daughter. I recognize, of course, that he is likely paying child support for Robin, but I also recognize that child support rarely comes close to covering many of the costs associated with raising a child. Also, and this doesn't really affect the judgment, but I'm curious, what is the timeline here? He's your ex, has a child with his current partner, and yet your child is younger than theirs. I am currently 18 years old, and the sister I'm talking about is 28, both females. The issue consists of two arguments that revolve around the same day, my sister's wedding. I will start with an introduction to the necklace. When I was 12, my grandmother from my mother's side passed away. We were extremely close as she used to babysit us almost every day since our parents returned to work late. All of the grandchildren, 5 in total, got a valuable piece of jewelry each. I got a beautiful sapphire and diamond necklace that she used to wear every day. My sister got a pair of emerald earrings. At first, my parents didn't want me to wear it and fear I may lose it, but it meant a lot to me since she always wore it, so they ended up trusting me and letting me wear it. Ever since then, I've worn it almost every day, just like she used to. Now, the helping her with her daughter introduction. When my sister was 19, she got pregnant and the father wanted absolutely nothing to do with the baby. She wanted to keep it, and 9 months later gave birth to my niece. Let's call her Elle. My sister got a lot of financial support from my parents at first, but then they reduced it and told her she needed to start working for herself. So she decided to sell the earrings while she got a good job. Once Elle was 4, she decided to get a babysitter, but, oh, how expensive. I wonder who could help me. Spoiler alert, it was me. So for years I had to attend playdates that consisted of me watching Elle and making sure she behaves. Needless to say, I'm now tired of Elle, and even though I love her, the simple thought of babysitting her again annoys me. So now the mess. My sister's wedding is next month, and one would have thought that they already had someone to take care of Elle. But no, they don't. She expected me to babysit her since we are family, and I've done it before. I was obviously annoyed, but she didn't even give me the chance to decline. Yesterday, she asked me if I could lend her the necklace, and I said no. I took the chance to also tell her I wasn't going to babysit Elle. I'm not sure which of the two things pissed her off the most, but she was furious. Most of the bridal party was there, and they all jumped at me with different arguments and trying to convince me. I left quickly and turned off my phone, since I'm 99% sure they have been texting me. My best friends, S and T, both think it wouldn't hurt me to lend it to her just for one day, but I really don't want to. They say I am a bad sister for not doing my best so she can have her dream wedding. The reason I don't want to lend it to her? It's because it's not just the necklace. She saw her earrings as something she could easily replace, but to me, this is the memory of my grandmother. I've worn it almost every day since I was 9, and lending it doesn't feel right. And for the babysitting thing, my reasons are the ones above. Not the a-hole. The necklace is not fancy jewelry for you, for some of it. As you wear it every day, it's part of your identity. Besides, if you do, sister may want to keep it as, I got married in it, how can I give it back? Or, I deserve to have a piece of grandma too. As to her daughter, she can pay for a babysitter. She has plenty of time to find one. Not the a-hole. Why do I get the feeling if you lend her your necklace that you won't be seeing it again? Also, with your niece, I would have thought your sister would go to each family member and ask to keep an eye on her. I'm gathering she's about 9 now, so old enough not to need too much attention if it's explained to her that she needs to stay with immediate family members. Not the a-hole. You each got a personal gift from your grandmother, and she chose to sell hers. Clearly it wasn't important to her. And it's so tacky in my opinion to ask a guest at your wedding to babysit kids. No guest should have a job. Edit. Last night when I posted this, a lot of comments were saying that even though I was not the a-hole, it wouldn't hurt me to hang out with Elle. So I decided to call my sister and we went for breakfast. I told her that I had not changed my mind about the necklace, but that I decided to take care of Elle during the party. She was a bit sad about the necklace, but after I explained to her that it was not just an accessory to me, she understood. She said she would ask her friends, the ones that came for me, to apologize. Had been dating my girlfriend for about 2 months and felt certain she was cheating on me. I'm not the jealous type, but there were too many nights where she canceled plans suddenly because she was sick or had some other excuse, and I felt like I was being gaslighted. So I hired a private investigator to trail her one night when she said she was going to a friend's birthday party. She ended up telling me she was staying in because she was sick again. The PI found the exact opposite. She went to a fancy restaurant with another, much older guy. I think he was an old professor of hers. They held hands, kissed, and drank. I confronted her about it, and she lied, saying she did go out, but it was with her other friend. She even had her other friend text me and back up her story. I told her I had a friend go to the restaurant and take pictures, so I knew she was lying. Immediately I felt bad. Was it wrong to send someone to verify her story? Should I have just broken up? Is hiring someone to try your girlfriend duplicitous and in a holy way? Help me. Not the a-hole. Gaslighting is horrible, and the peace of mind from knowing that you are not paranoid is totally worth it. All the people saying, if you don't trust, just break up, don't know what circles of hell can a somewhat neurotic or anxious person go through before making a decision like that, based solely on a gut feeling. It's just not that easy for some. You're the a-hole. Seriously. You've dated this girl for 2 months, and you had a private investigator stalk her because you thought she was lying to you. You must have more money than sense. Why didn't you just break up with her? Sounds like she is well rid of you. Not the a-hole. I don't get the yes, the a-holes. If you are exclusive, it doesn't matter that y'all have been dating for 2 months. Cheating is cheating, no matter the length of the relationship. I don't know why people are dismissing that. You had a gut feeling, and wanted to make sure it was a fact before taking action. She in fact lied to you, and was seeing other people. You're not the a-hole for hiring a private investigator to discover the truth.